and how to start, and just the difference of the beads and things like that, so that you can be prepared before you sit down and get started. Some people like to rush through things. I don't do that, because then you end up getting frustrated, or you end up having this fantasy about certain things, and you thinking it's going to be that way, and it doesn't end up being that way. And so that's why I like to explain, get stuff out the way, and be thorough about that. Now, so what I'm going to do is, because I got all these beads out, I'm going to have to move the beads down so that they won't roll all over the place like they're doing now. And I'm going to have to place them so I can start. And like I said, tweezers come in handy, because tweezers, well, my stuff is just falling and falling and falling. But tweezers come in handy because you can grab, it's a quick, easy way to grab beads. And so that, you can grab them and place them. It helps you stabilize the beads and stuff like that as well, so that you can place them easier, because sometimes the holes are not visible like that. And I just wanted to add too, when you get certain things that are made for beading, like this beading wrench here, this also is what you call a bead reamer. So say for instance, you have a bead that, you get a lot of beads that the hole is closed. So you see this hole right here? And it's supposed to be wide, and it looks wide. Sometimes on the inside, the way they make them is plastic or something like that, and it closes off the bead. So what you do is you take this device right here, you can bend it, you can turn the wire, but you also put it in here and you can open the bead up more, so it'll fit on a wire, or fit on thread or something like that. And they have devices just solely that it's not a wrench. They have a long device, what they call a bead reamer. And maybe before I finish the video, I can show you what that is. But for the most part, that's also what that doubles as. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm not going to put these on, even though I'm kind of anal when it comes to, I'm kind of OCD when it comes to how I place my beads and stuff like that. But because, I'm just showing you how to do it, we're just going to get started. And then, like I said, you can take this and scoop up beads and do all that. I don't do all of that because, like I said, sometimes the beads are not open all the way. Like this one right here is kind of stuck at the back here, so I had to push it through. That's a good thing about the wire too. If it is stuck or it's closed off, you can kind of push it through. And then sometimes you have to do like this to find the wire. This is find a hole for the bead. This is a black bead, and my vision is not the best, so this might take me an hour to find the hole. Hopefully not, so this can go on properly. And I don't have completely proper wide lighting. But this right here, see, it was stuck and I have to push it through. So now all beads are going to be like that, but you're going to have that more than once. And the bead reamer is good, and the beading wire is good because it helps you push it through. Especially for those that have paint on top, like this right here has paint on top of it. Even though it's plastic underneath here, it has paint on top of it. And so sometimes the paint covers the hole. And so you need to be able to poke it through. And you can't, I don't want to stop and take the bead reamer and do all that all the time. So the wire is good. And that's another reason why I use the memory wire. I got to look for the hole. Give me just a second. This might take me some time. And I don't know why I'm doing this without proper lighting. But I just figured, I have the natural light. And so I should be good. But, okay. So I think that's that. And as you can see, you have different sizes of beads, and the different sizes of beads take up, certain amount of space. And that's why when it comes to these memory wire, because it's hard, this is hard, you want to be mindful of how big the beads are. Usually something this size is better. You might use this as a centerpiece. These two might be a centerpiece, but the rest of it, this one might be a centerpiece as well. But the smaller beads you might want to use to make, it's just more comfortable. Especially if you have a thin arm like me, bone and hard objects never mix well for me. So you might want to get you some beads that are soft and small and stuff that's not going to be uncomfortable and cut off your circulation or something like that. You don't want jewelry like that. You want it to be nice, but something that's comfortable as well. So let me look for the hole. So this one has another one of those painted over holes. And so you got to search for that. And I'm going to have to poke a hole through this one because the paint is covering it. So you have that. You have that, and we're just going to keep doing it until we finish. Like I said, I'm not doing any particular style. I just want to show you how easy it can be to make the jewelry. Make sure you have proper lighting. If you wear glasses, please have proper lighting. If you decide to do beading as a hobby or to make jewelry to sell, they have a contraption or certain equipment that has extra magnification. I don't have mine with me right now to show it, and honestly I don't know if I still have it, but it's a jewelry making device that you strap to your head, and it has different types of lenses that magnify certain things. So if I had it on here, I would be able to see this a lot better, exactly where the hole is and exactly where to place it, so I won't be fumbling around in this video trying to do it. But these painted ones, like I said, they you have to push through the hole if you can find it. I have to take this outside of the scope of the frame of the picture because this had a lot of paint on it and I couldn't see. I saw the hole, but I couldn't see where to actually stick it. But you see how it has the paint? You see how it's painted on the top. Hopefully the lighting shows it, but it's covered. It's a hole right here, right where my thumb is covering it, but it has paint on it. I don't know if you can see that, but it has paint covering that hole. So I have to drill a hole through it or use the bead ringer to do that. And they're soft and they're pretty and all that stuff, but you know, but sometimes you have to do that. And the noise in the background also is my fans. It's been warm, it's been very hot, and I've been unwell because of the heat. I have certain neurological illness that causes me problems when it's very hot. So I've been having the AC, but the AC is spiking up the electric bill out this piece. And where I live at is I've had problems with this apartment complex, and you know, that antiquated. Well, I don't think I have it on this channel. I may have it on this channel, but I think it's on my DMV Plus channel where I showed the system is so antiquated. It's this long, big, like air-conditioned filter type thing going on unit, and then they have a small little up-to-date thermometer attached to it, but it's crazy. And so I've been having issues with that thing, and the apartment complex people don't care. There's so many unpleasant people nowadays, and so it's been kind of difficult. And I apologize if I put this too close to the camera because I'm talking and trying to see as well to place the beads. But yeah, so the fans, I have 2 fans in my room, big fans that I use when I don't have my AC on. Let me see if I can see this bead hole. Alright, so I might have to puncture this one too because I did a little bit. This is a pretty bead. I like the different colors. It has like a mood. And as you go along, the beads, it's sort of like a slinky. They go all the way to the end. You just adjust it as you go along. You see me doing. I have the other side closed already because, like I said, I had other beads on it. So the beads are not going to fall off unless the hole is too big for the actual closure. And so as you can see, this is how it is. It's closed already on this end right here. Like I said, I already had beads on it. So basically you get an idea of what it's going to look like and how you're going to have to close the other end. Alright, so let me find the hole on here again. Alright, and I'm going to have to get some more beads to finish this off in just a second. And don't be upset if you drop a few beads. This is not, always the cleanest thing. Some people are really good at like keeping things neat and organized, and they don't drop anything, and just, blessed like that. I'm not. Stuff falls everywhere, just everywhere. A lot of the times I have to start over or something like that. That's why I try to organize myself before I get started and condense the beads into a certain little locale so that I will have less of that. So I'm going to grab some more beads real quick. And the good thing about memory wire, you can sit it down. The beads are not going to go anywhere, especially if you have it all the way towards the other end. And I would recommend, if you start, I'm going to show you how to close it, but I recommend that you close one end before you start. Of course, that's the logical thing to do. Please do that. And I'm trying to make sure that I have this in the shot properly. But you make sure that you close the end here so that the beads won't fall off. Now, some beads are very small and thin, and the wire is thick enough so if you put it up there, it'll be hard for it to come off the end like this small little. If you have thin enough beads that'll be able to fit, but are too, thin to come off, they might stay, but I wouldn't risk it because it's a big mess depending on how you're sitting and where you're sitting and all this stuff. And so to avoid that, just, close off the end is my advice. All right, so close it off in advance. Save you heartache. Save you a lot of heartache. Well, a waste of time anyway. I'm going to say heartache. You're not going to fall out. I hope not, because beads are falling. Unless, you trying to do something last minute and you started something and it all falls off and it's like you're trying to rush or whatever. That's why it's like if you decide to make something, just make sure you have enough time in advance, or make something easy or basic. Don't do anything major like a necklace or, even with the memory wire, you can have little mishaps and things, like especially have a certain design that you want to do and you don't have enough beads or something like that to finish off the design. You got to try to find beads or something like that, and you're not the type of person that usually buy beads. It's going to be frustrating if you start and do all this, take your time to do that and then you can't finish it. So that's why I said plan in advance if you can. Usually I would get like the same color beads to start. If you're new, get the same color beads, get a decent amount of them, measure. It shows you the length. It tells you how long these be. When you buy a memory wire, it tells you how long it is, or the yardage. Even though it's wrapped like this, it'll tell you on the package the yardage. So you can Google the diameter of a bead. So if you get a certain diameter of beads, you can Google the length based off of the yardage of the of whatever wire or thread that you use. You can Google the length, and it could tell you how many that you might need for your wrist size and stuff like that. And they have, if you go to a decent beading store, you can ask somebody and they'll tell you, or they'll have things, they have different books and things like that to kind of guide you, or different pamphlets to say, hey, for this amount of wire, you need certain diameter of beads, and you need this many beads. And then you can buy based off of that, and just buy the same color, Maybe get something that might be sparkly or something like that, or something, different, as long as it matches, but not too far off. And so you won't have to worry about if you don't have enough beads, or if they don't match, or whatever the situation may be. You don't have enough time to do this, that, or the third. You don't have to worry about that, because you've already planned it in advance. You look on the package to see how many yardage of, how many yardage of thread, or how many yardage of memory wire, whatever you decide to buy. And then you can kind of, Google your wrist size, or Google the wrist size or whatever of the person, or the ring size of the person. And because like I said, they have memory wires to make rings as well. And so you can Google that, and so you can go ahead and figure out how many beads you're going to need, how much it's going to cost you. You'll have enough money when you come to buy it, and you can always go online and see how much they cost online. Now sometimes, like I said, the cost online might be different if you go. I didn't say this before, but I'm saying it now. The cost online may be different than when you go into the store. That's true. And so you can always call, or you can kind of, guesstimate. Like, you may bring a little extra just in case it might be a little bit more. It might be shocked. There might be a sale or something like that. That's why if you're going to get beads, usually I go to Walmart, or I may go to, if I go to something like, I'll go to Walmart, but if I go to something like a Michael's, I will go online to look and see if they have any sales going on, because sometimes they don't just have sales for people that are like members or whatever. They just have sales in general, because these beads add up, and so they be trying to get rid of stock. And so you can always go online to see, like, hey, I want to use some other beads. You can always go online and be like, hey, see if they got a sale going on or something like that. so that, you know, you don't have to, you know, you can make sure you have the right amount of money, and, you know, to get the beads that, you know, you might want to get. We can use these orange ones. Hopefully these will be it. Because the ones I have, you know, they're just too large. Even though, like I said, it doesn't really matter. But that's what I'm saying. I'm kind of anal when it comes to certain things. So I just said it doesn't matter. And then I'm going to just, I don't want to use them. Because they're cut a certain way. They're kind of blocky. And, you know, they're cut to look like actual, you know, gems. This right here. If you look at it, it's kind of blocky. If you see it, if you look at it, it has these different cuts to it. And all of these are round for the most part. These are round. And so I just want some type of consistency. And so I'm not using the blocky ones. I want to use the round ones. You can use them as long as they're small enough, but for this video, I don't want to do too many blocky stuff. I might put one up there, but I just want the round ones, and some of them are going to be larger, like I said, than others. And so, and I really didn't want the video to be too long, but like I said, it's just the basics. And what I'm going to do is, and this is going to always be revisited for those that are learning, but I'm just going to be making stuff, you know, just basic stuff too. It's not going to be elaborate stuff. I might, if I get, you know, if I get the opportunity to do something loom wise, I'll do the loom, whatever, basic looming, not a whole bunch of design and stuff. We're talking about doing stuff that can get you in and out type stuff. People have lives. Some people, you know, have time to sit, and then I'm not knocking that, but many people don't. They're in school, or they're working, or they have an event they need to go to quickly, and they don't want to spend $20 on jewelry or whatever. And they're like, hey, I have beads. Like, you know, let me do this real quick. You know, that'll match my outfit. That'll match what I need to do. I can make something small. I can make something large, you know. And, you know, just, you know, or I can, you know, you have time enough, maybe an hour to go out to buy something, you know, some beads or something like that, and put it together in your car. You know, you don't have to go back home. You can do it, you know, right in your car, you know. This right here doesn't, you know, take a lot of effort. It just doesn't. And like I said, just depending on the size of the holes of the beads, the size of the beads, and the type of equipment. I say equipment, but utensils or whatever you want to call them. The tools that you need to make it, you know, that's going to be the only thing that might be take a little extra time to kind of, you know, work out. But other than that, this really takes no time to do. And once you get to the end, like I'm about to do, hopefully, I'm almost there. That's when you start gauging what type of beads. So see, I have a lot of large beads up here. So once I get close to the end, so that I have enough room, and you're going to want about this much room left, maybe a little bit shorter, so that you can, and that's why this tool right here will come in handy, because it's rounded. This right here is more of a block. And so you want something that's going to round it really good, and I'll show you once I'm finished. Why I'm saying that, but you want to make sure that you have enough room to finish off, but you want to make sure that you have enough beads up there too, so it won't be showing a lot of wire, and the wire hurts too. You want the beads up there. The beads cover the wire for a reason. You don't want anything up there hurting you, you know, especially if you're making it for children too. You want something that, you know, that's not going to hurt them, you know. So you want to make sure the wire is covered to the end. Find out where the hole is. You want to always make sure that the wire is covered all the way to the end. I'm just putting random stuff up here now. So that and this is like one of those crystals I was telling you about. Now this is not Swarovski crystal. This is Egyptian crystal. And when I was doing wholesale stuff, when I was ordering wholesale, I think this is the one, I can't remember, but when I was getting things wholesale, I was able to get, you know, Egyptian crystal and stuff like that, and because they have all type of beads and stuff. It's a place called Beads and Rocks, and they have all type of beads and stuff like that, and rocks and all type of interesting things. And they had both Swarovski crystal, but they had Egyptian crystal and stuff like that. All type of neat stuff that you can use for people that make jewelry just in general. So my beads, I'm trying to get the beads that are rounded and not what you call it, but that's not working out for me completely. So I'm just putting random stuff up here that it has a soft round enough edge or whatever. And so how many of these do we have? And this one is a it's more of an oval shape type of bead, but it's gonna squarish oval shape type of bead, and this has a small opening, so you just have to be and this is more of a bead, it's more of a closer type of bead, so it goes on the end of a bead like this so it won't fall off, and then I would bend this part like that. So I'll probably put that on the end. Let me take that out. We'll use that for the end. And put up some extra beads. I'm trying to get it as close to the edge, you all. I know this is taking a little time, but I want to show it in full towards the end. This is more of a blocky bead, but it's small, so we're not gonna. And this blocky type of bead too, I just want to show that this blocky type of bead has a certain edge to it. It looks like a crystal, and it might be a crystal bead. I can't remember. You have to be mindful of the whole size of these too. But when you wear it on your arm, just keep in mind that this presses down on your arm. So that's why the rounded ones is better, because it's, you know, they're rounded. They, you know, it's rounded. It doesn't have sharp edges or anything like that. So be mindful when you're wearing something like this, that because it's going to be tight around your arm. So you want something rounded. You don't want anything like this, but I'm leaving it up there for the video. Like I said, so not many rounded things. You don't want that. I mean, not many cut things that look like cut diamonds. You know, that make them look like precious stones. It's cut and things. You don't want that on, or something like this. Even though I can take it, but it's not rounded. It's rounded. You know, it's not a sphere. It's cut like it's, you know, some type of, you know, gem that you put, you know, you set on a ring or something like that. And so, you know, you're not going to want to wear this all the time. You're not going to want to wear it all day. It's just something cute that you put on that you might wear for an event or something like that. But if you want to wear something all day, you need to get rounded beads for comfort. Comfort only. What are we doing? Because my rounded beads are gone for the most part. So I'm going to do some more cut beads. More cut beads. And then hopefully I'll be done shortly. And so that I can go ahead and show you guys how to close the stuff off. So we're getting down close to the end now. We're almost there. And I guess I'm going to start doing, I'll do the, yeah, these are too large. Because they're just too large. This one is a large one too. How big are these? Let me see. Oh, we got the cute little round ones. These are cute. These look like they have stones in them. You know, it's fake, but it's like these are closer beads as well. And they're sparkly, and they have little beads on the they have little sparkly, they look like they're set little diamonds or whatever, but they're not. But they close off beads like this and stuff. It's like a big opening and it's round. So that's what it looked like. See if I can twist it and turn it. No. So I have to take it off and show it. You see it has an opening like that. It's usually to close off beads, but then it has like this little sparkly thing. I'm trying to, because my phone is not liking the adjustment, but yeah. And so you just turn it and it closes off the larger beads so they won't come off, and it makes it look nice. So it's a nice finishing bead. And I have 2 of these finishing beads, which is nice. And then I might just add one more blue bead, which is large. I really don't want to add that when I'm being anal. I'm being really picky. And just so you show you too, you see how small this bead is on my finger? I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but it's very small. Something like this is more for rings. It's not for making jewelry. It's very, very small. Let me see if I can hold it without. Without it coming out of my hand. But it's a very small bead. So something like this would be too, I mean, it might fit, we can see, but it's super duperly, so it fit, but it's super duper, but look how big that, look how big the closer bead is. See how big the closer bead is? And so it's not the best idea when you're making something like this. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. So when you're making something like this closer bead, it has a large opening, but this is a little bit larger, but it's super small. It's a little bit larger than it, so that it won't go completely through. But if you push it enough, it could go through here. And so that's why you don't use super small beads unless you're making a ring or a necklace or something like that. And you have a smaller closer bead, like this right here is the small. I'm gonna use it on the end of the bracelet, but this is a smaller closer bead. So if I were to put this on here, it would close that off because the hole is small enough towards the end. And on my camera, any other time, it, you know, it what's the word? It focuses pretty good, but for this, you know, purpose, it's trying to be funny. But at any rate, but I just wanted to add that too. If you're going to use small beads, just keep that in mind. You have to have proper closer beads on a on, you know, memory wire. Not as much though, because you can bend it to close it. But like I said, if the bead is super small like that, when you bend it, like this end here, this end right here is way larger than that little pink bead. Way larger. So if you close it, it's going to be larger than it, and it's going to look unfinished. You want to close it where you can't tell really that this doesn't go inside here, or it doesn't match or flow with the bracelet. So so yeah, you don't want to do that. Do we have any other large enough small beads that I can put up here to end the project? That's what I'm looking for right now, besides this one here. And this life is telling me maybe not. So let me put this down here. I just need about 3 or 4 beads, proper beads, and then I'll close it off. Three or 4 proper beads, and then we can close it with the closer bead, round beads is what I'm looking for mainly. And I can close it off. Or if you had a long one that's round, you know, that's like a sphere, something similar to this. It's long but thinner. You can use this bead to close it off too, because it takes up a decent amount of space. So if you have those type of beads, that's good too. But I want a certain type of bead to close off this project. So that's what I'm gonna do. Give me just a second. We're gonna do that. And so we can go ahead and be done with this. I don't want the big one. We can do the white one. And if need be, I'll keep the green, but I doubt it that I'll need it. Alright, so I gotta put those beads back in there. Alright, now, so we want to try to close this off. I was able to find some other smaller beads to kind of end it. And it would be nice too to end it with smaller beads, smaller, thinner beads. Really to start it and to end it would be nice, because it gives a nice tapering off, and then you have all of these. So you know, it's just up to you and what you like. But and then it's comfortable. It's more comfortable as well. I'm gonna take this one off and put this one up here. It's gonna be more comfortable for you. And then we're gonna close it. Let me see. I got 2 of those, and that's a closer bead, and this is a closer bead too. Which one is this one? And that's not a bead that I want to use. Alright, so I guess I thought I had more rounded ones, so we'll just close it with this because it's long enough and it takes up a decent amount of space. And then I'm going to see if I can put a couple of closer beads up here and call it a day. How does go? Okay. So yeah, one more. And so you see how much is left on this, on the tip of it. It's not much. I'm going to put another closer bead on it. And it's only this amount left. Now, you can do like this to move it down as tightly as possible to the end. Sometimes it's going to try to flex back, but you can do that. But when you bend this, turn this in and make a nice little loop. First of all, see if, make sure that it kind of matches. Now this is on the outside, so I'm going to bend it backwards to match this other loop on the other side. But usually I try to turn them in so that really it can't really be seen like that. I don't like the outward type thing. I made a bracelet 100 years ago, so I just decided to do that. But you're going to see, and you're going to be able to gauge if you have enough room to make the loop. So we're going to try, and it might not work the first time. You might break a bead, but I'm twisting it. And so as you can see, this bead was too much for that. Now what I can do is, if I have enough room to stick the little bead reamer in the hole, I can pull it back, pull the beads a little bit more, see if I can pull it in some, and see what it looks like then. And if it still doesn't look good, either you can reopen it, which it doesn't look good, and I might have to take one of the beads off. And you learn this as you go along, but the object is to close it. So I'm going to see if I can bend it back, which is a good thing about memory wire. It's sturdy enough because you have wire that is considered memory wire, but you can easily break it. You can easily break it. So this is where the other stuff comes in handy. And my little set is falling to pieces now that I'm trying to close this stuff up. But all right. So this is where these come in handy because it's more of a flat plier, and it keeps it flat, and it is a little bit more sturdy, so you can bend it back better. So now it's pretty much back to flat, and then I can pull off the extra bead that I don't need, go back to this one, and I try to start as close to the top. That's why I really didn't. I could have kept that other bead up there, but just for video purposes, I'm just trying to end it. But I could have kept it, but I took, you kind of gauge it and then take it off. You want to make a nice little loop like this. And with that, you do that. Now you can close this. You can use this to close this closer in, but because it's twist a lot, I like using the flat head wrench. And what it does is you take it at the closest part towards the bead, and you take this part that is supposed to be closed all the way down, and you want to smash that as close as you can get it. It's going to twist, so try not to be frustrated for those that get really impatient. But if you can grab it pretty good, you can close it. And then what's going to happen is it's going to be so tightly closed to the bead is not going to come off. So as you can see, you can pull it out a little bit. That's why I wanted to keep the other bead up there, but it's not too much of a gap that it's going to be a big deal. And then you can always unbend it and twist it closer so it can be closer to the bead, but I'm not going to do that for video purposes because it has run a little long. And then you can adjust it, so if it's twisted this way, you can adjust it back this way so it won't be sticking you in the arm. and things like that. And so I just kind of bend it a little bit down to make sure that because I did have to bend it back to open it. So you just want to make sure that it's level and even. And then what you have is a nice little, oh, I don't know what's going on with that. What you have is a nice little braided bracelet. And I'm going to put it on. You can put it on any way you want to put it on. And all you do is wrap, wrap, wrap. And that's what you have. And you can adjust it so these two little the closings can be at the bottom. So the place where you close the beads off from coming off, I usually put that at the bottom of my wrist so it can't be seen. So the only thing that's seen is the top of the bracelet. That's the only thing that you're going to see. And at the bottom of the bracelet, like I said, you have the part where you close off the beads. And you can adjust it accordingly. But it's a nice little stacked bracelet that covers up a nice portion of your arm. You don't have to have to clasp it, especially if you're the type of person that have problems with your hand and finger coordination. And I apologize again, I do live on top of the highway, and we have a whole police brigade, about 5 or 6 police officers going down the highway. So that's what we're hearing. But again, in closing, because I'm going to close this up, for people that have problems that can't take off clasps and stuff, this is a good thing too. This is really good because you can just take it off like this. You can put it on and take it off. You don't need, it's not magnet or anything like that. It's just very easy to do. And like I said, you can make your own designs and stuff like that. And when you want to take it off, so for me, because I'm very thin, sometimes it does cut off the circulation here. So you be mindful of that. You can get softer beads though. Beads that might have like a certain type of felt to it at the bottom of the bead. And it'll be nice and comfortable on your arm. It's whatever you want to do. Or you can get a larger size, a memory wire that has a larger width. And so that it still be nice and around your wrist, like this one here. This fits nicer, but it's smaller beads too, and it's lighter. It fits nice. You want to make sure it doesn't fall off your hand or anything like that. But it's not, I mean, I needed a little bit more wire to close it off. But other than that, if it's okay, you can pop it on and off. You don't have to worry about, messing with fixtures and things like that. When I say fixtures, that's what some of the, or clasps. That's what some of it is called sometimes, little fixtures that, you put towards things to close it. But this is a really good idea for those, for children. You don't have to worry about them losing anything super expensive. It's cute. They can take it on and off. If they lose it, you can buy some more beads and make it. You can pass it down or, pass it up. And you can, make beads like this. You can cut the bead like this and add more. Make the same size, the same thing, and then you can still have a stack, but it just won't be like a slinky type thing. And so I'm going to end the video. If you have any questions, you can leave a comment, or you can ask your question below in the comment section. And if you have any ideas or any easier way of doing things, by all means, please leave that information below. I'm going to be making more jewelry. I'm going to probably try to do a necklace next. A necklace is a little bit more complicated for certain things when it comes to class and things like that. But I can do the memory wire one, show you how to do that. You can make a choker and things like that. So I might make that my next video. But again, thank you for watching. And if you have any questions, please leave a question down in the comment section. If you have a comment, please leave a comment. And I will see you next time. Take care.